Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
That tragic boating incident in Exuma bringing a lot of regulatory changes. The transport minister gives an update.
A major shakeup in the Minutes-led cabinet.
A female is the country's latest homicide victim.
2 Harbor Island men charged with sex crimes for attacks on underage visitors to that island.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, Four Seas Adventures has had its operation suspended after one of its boats exploded Saturday morning, killing an American tourist and seriously injuring 9 others. This as an investigation is launched into what caused that incident. Meanwhile, the transport minister advises that changes are on the way for the motorized water sports industry. Kaya Joaquin tells us more.
Boaters could expect a lot of regulatory changes as a result of that incident that occurred on Exuma over the weekend. The transport minister gave an update. Take a listen.
I want to say how saddened we are that persons were injured and one person actually lost their life.
2 women remain in hospital in intensive care following Saturday morning's boat explosion off Exuma that left 9 people injured and 1 American woman dead. The Four Seas boat was carrying 10 Americans and 2 Bahamian crew members for a half-day tour of the Exuma Keys when tragedy struck. One of those passengers still in ICU, 22-year-old Stephanie Schaefer of Vermont, who reportedly had both legs amputated upon arrival at Princess Margaret Hospital. Her mother, Stacy, is also said to be in ICU.
We need to move this boat. Huh? We need to move this boat. We need to move our boat back.
Within a matter of hours, a GoFundMe page under Stephanie Schaefer and family was set up and hit nearly $40,000 of a $50,000 goal. Her brother, George Schaefer, took to Facebook saying, Steph had both of her legs amputated below her knees, 2 broken arms, one of which requires surgery, as well as internal injuries to her kidneys, spleen, and liver. He continued, we are hoping to get them back to the USA before any more surgeries have to happen, but only time will tell. If everyone can please keep them in your thoughts and prayers, they really need them now. But more than 48 hours later, authorities still don't know the cause of the explosion and gave no time frame on how long the investigation will take.
The matter will be pursued with all resources the Port Department has in collaborations with the Bahamas Maritime Authority to investigate this matter fully.
The American woman who died has been identified as 39-year-old Malika Jackson of Atlanta, Georgia. Her husband, Tyron Jackson, was said to be on the boat as well, but did not suffer any life-threatening injuries. The morning after the crash, the tour company Four Seas was back in the water, business as usual. But according to Transport Minister Frankie Campbell, their operations have since been suspended.
It is normal procedure. There are a number of other vessels that the company owns. I think it is prudent to ensure that everything is in order, that we can assure and guarantee safety as we move forward.
And as investigators dig into what caused the tragic incident, the spotlight is now on the maintenance of the boat. Commercial boats like the one in question, according to Campbell, are supposed to be inspected annually. Another factor that could play a role in the investigation, the fact that the vessel was home-built.
I don't want to speculate that the accident is as a result of the fact that the boat was home-built. There could be so many more causes. I'm satisfied that the investigation will reveal the cause, and then we can move from there.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
According to a statement released by Princess Margaret Hospital this evening, an American man injured in that boat explosion was airlifted to Broward General Hospital in Fort Lauderdale around 1:15 this afternoon. The statement says further arrangements are being made to airlift the 2 remaining American women to the United States for treatment. The U.S. Embassy is working along with PMH and the family of Malika Jackson, the woman killed in the accident, to have her remains transported to the U.S. Well, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis also expressing his condolences to the families of those impacted by that tragic boating accident on Exuma over the weekend. Minnis telling reporters he sent an official communication to the American government on behalf of the people of the Bahamas.
I sent out an official letter from the government expressing our condolence and we're very saddened by what had happened.
The Prime Minister added he did not want to discuss the matter in detail as it's still an active investigation. He also declined to comment on calls for the water sports industry to be more strictly regulated.
That matter is under investigation, so I would not want to make any comment.
In other news, a major shakeup in the Minnis-led cabinet. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis confirming several cabinet ministers and other government officials have new posts. As he confirmed reports, the Prime Minister also explained what led him to reshuffle cabinet. Jasmine Brown has the details.
The Prime Minister confirming today that there will be a shuffle in his cabinet just over a year after the FNM took office. The Cabinet Office confirming the transfers in a statement sent out this afternoon. Renward Wells is to be reassigned from the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources to the Ministry of Transport and Local Government. Frankie Campbell is to be reassigned from the Ministry of Transport and Local Government to the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development. Michael Pintard will be reassigned from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, and Lanisha Roll will be reassigned from the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development to the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture.
I will be relocating individuals, transferring. I'll be transferring individuals. There'll be quite a number of cabinet ministers who would be relocated to other ministries, and quite a number of permanent secretaries who would be relocated to other ministries.
The PM was asked the reason and timing behind the shuffle so early on in his administration's term in office.
It gives individuals exposures and experience in all the different ministries. That's why I don't have any ministry. I have no ministry, so I can look at all and learn about all.
So you plan to do this every year then?
No.
Ministers will be moved?
No, but ministers would be moved as I think is necessary to give them the necessary exposure.
Rumors of a cabinet shuffle have circulated since late last year. Last November, the PM was asked whether he had considered shuffling his cabinet. At the time, Minnis said no, adding that his cabinet was still young. He also insisted each and every member is doing very, 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 very good. Today, he reiterated his confidence in his cabinet, adding that the shuffle doesn't mean he has lost faith in any of his ministers.
No, I have not. I have not lost faith in any cabinet minister.
How would you rate their track record of those who will be moving?
I think they have done very well. And I'm certain that they would carry that skill to whichever ministry they move to. My cabinet ministers have performed exceptionally well, and I'm sure they will continue to perform exceptionally well.
As for the parliamentary secretary post left vacant after Minnis fired Vaughn Miller and Travis Robinson from Social Services and Tourism respectively for voting no to the VAT amendment bill, Minnis says they won't be replaced.
We are now trying to balance a budget. That's a savings of $90,000. Every great oak tree was once a nut.
Meanwhile, there are also developments coming out of the office of the Prime Minister. Minnis says the government will establish a modernization unit at the office of the Prime Minister to update and transform the public service. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Police have confirmed that the woman found dead on Cowpen Road on Sunday is 25-year-old Kira Erica Musgrove of Watland Street, Coconut Grove. Authorities also revealed that Musgrove is the woman reported missing following a shooting incident on Saturday. Jillian Gray was at the scene.
I swear to God, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
That was the emotional cry on Saturday after a man and woman were shot in a brown Nissan by a male assailant known to them. The incident happened around 10 p.m. in Pastel Gardens, and according to reports, the male victim was able to flee while the female was abducted by the shooter, who drove off with the injured woman still inside the car. Well, it was about 6 p.m. last night when the body of a female was found in a field off Cowpen Road.
A farm laborer was here at this location cleaning the farm when he came across the body of a female.
25-year-old Rhea Musgrove is the missing female from Saturday night's incident. Now, family members flooded to the scene and was eager to find out if the female found in the bushes was in fact their loved one.
Everybody was out looking for her when I saw it. And all this thing here. We were actually out. We just came and we was in the South Beach area, Marshall Road. That's where it actually took place, and we were actually just came in from out.
Musgrove, who is a mother of a 2-year-old girl, was described as a loving person by family friend Mandel Miller. Miller, who said he knew Musgrove for about 5 years, made this heartfelt plea.
My plea is to all women out there in particular to be very considerate of the individuals that you invest your time. We're living in some very precarious times, and trouble is easy to follow. It may be following the person that you're associated with.
The discovery yesterday marked the country's 54th murder. The recent spat of murders is of great concern to police, but they say they are relentless in their efforts to combat crime.
We are committed and we are relentless in all of our investigations, and we will resolve these issues. Our detection rate is climbing. So our investigation are competent enough to deal with all of the investigations.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
2 Eleuthera residents hauled before the magistrate's court under heavy police guard this afternoon, accused of sex attacks on teenage girls. Jared Higgs tells us more.
Under heavy police guard, 27-year-old Julian Stewart, seen here in the yellow shirt, and 29-year-old Kevy Cambridge in the white shirt and offering an offensive gesture to cameras, appeared before Deputy Chief Magistrate Subasola Swain today on allegations of rape. It is alleged that between Wednesday, June 27th and Thursday, June 28th, Stewart had sexual intercourse with a 17-year-old girl without her consent. Cambridge, on the other hand, was charged with unlawful sexual intercourse, with prosecutors alleging that sometime between the 27th and 28th of June, he had sexual intercourse with a 15-year-old girl. Last week, police revealed that officers on Harbour Island were investigating 2 incidents of indecent assault on 2 underage female tourists. According to police, the girls were on a beach sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. when they were assaulted by 2 Bahamian men. Stewart and Cambridge were both represented by attorney Ian Cargill. Both were denied bail and informed of their right to apply in the Supreme Court. They were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Now, neither of the men were required to enter a plea to the charges. They'll return to court on September 12th, where they'll be served with voluntary bill of indictment paperwork. Reporting for our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
24-year-old Mackenzie Sela in the gray shirt and 23-year-old Jaron Sanville in the red shirt appeared before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt, jointly charged with 4 murders. The pair is accused of killing brothers Malik and Delano Cartwright back on June 9th. In addition, prosecutors allege the men are responsible for the death of Anthony Thompson, who was killed on June 16th at Faith Avenue. The pair is further charged with the May 24th shooting death of Robert Smith during a home invasion on Lobster Avenue. Police say the pair is also accused of stealing $900 from Smith, as well as being in possession of an unlicensed firearm. Sainville was solely charged with possession of ammunition. Neither was required to enter a plea to the charges, and they will return to court for service of a voluntary bill of indictment on October 18th. Meanwhile, Sela faced a 5th murder charge. Prosecutors say he and 29-year-old Philano Williams in the gray shirt are responsible for the death of Anthony Bryce, also known as Hot Dog, who was killed on Step Street on June 11th. That matter was adjourned until October 10th, where the proceedings will be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. Williams is facing an additional murder charge for the June 26th killing of Donathan Hanna near Golden Isles Road. He's also accused, along with another, of possession of an unlicensed firearm and 2 counts of ammunition possession. Still to come on our News, undercover government officials on the lookout for price gouging on the heels of a VAT hike. Plus, the Labour Ministry's new one-stop service centre now open. That's coming up when our News returns.